Hi guys, happy Sunday. Today is actually a very serious topic, Sufferer's Sunday. Are you alone in your pain? Not anymore. I'm going live right now because I was very touched and inspired to do this today by some posts that I saw on friends' pages about chronic disease and immune disease and the unseen suffering that is out there. So those of you that have friends, family, loved ones, and those of you that are suffering, this is for you. I very rarely have an opportunity to fully connect with the depth of what I've been through. And so this is going to be, I'm going to do my best to actually be raw and be emotional with you guys because my journey was incredibly difficult. I guess I'll start by sharing this with you. This picture is something that I drew at the depths of things for myself back in December of 2014. And I drew this with charcoal in like a minute because that was about as long as I could hold anything in my hand. I had started with, randomly, I went from running down the beach in Florida to 24 hours later being in the ICU. Definitely feeling as though I was pronounced dead, the way that they were rushing around me and talking. My blood levels were that of a person that had been in the morgue a couple days, pH levels, etc. My pancreas was completely knocked out by type 1 diabetes. It only takes one antibody to cause that, and I had 3. I spent a month in the ICU, but that was just the beginning. That pain was beyond excruciating, and that's why I put that picture, that pain scale, because I had already experienced a good amount of pain in my life, and just 2 years prior had the massive internal bleeding in which the doctors told me there's no way you should be able to speak to me or be conscious right now. And after that, it started with RA. They thought I had RA as well. And then I started going to different specialists, immunologists, neurologists, gastrointestinologists, every type. And my symptoms had a wide range, and nothing was really explaining everything. I guess I could give you a little bit of a symptoms list here. What started happening was, first it was that deep bone pain. The best way to describe it was like shivs, like sharp metal sticks being shoved up through my bones. And then I also had neuropathic pain, but they said it couldn't be from the diabetes because it was too new. And then I had muscle deadening and spasms and tremors, stroke-like symptoms, seizure-like symptoms. There were times when I would have something come in that would literally feel like my own throat muscles were strangling me. I don't want to get into, like, I went blind. I had days where I was literally paralyzed. And I consider myself a tough bitch, okay? I had to say it that way. Nothing was going to keep me down, and it was just so incredibly hard for people to not even comprehend what it took for me to even move most days. And I did have some reprieve from time to time, but then when it would slam dunk me again, it was like, how did I even make it through the last round? I'm also allergic to pain medication. And with the type 1 diabetes, that was brittle and uncontrolled, having swings in the 400s down to the 20s. I'm sorry, I'm like breathless right now. It was incredibly hard. There's no other word for it. My whole life had been taken from me once again, and I was a prisoner in my own body. More like a prisoner in the torture chamber, and my torturers didn't really leave the room. Those of you that have family members that go through this, I want to tell you a couple things that you should really stop doing. You need to stop asking them if they're okay, because we all know the answer to that. And doctors, it would be really nice if you just took that pain scale and tore it up, because I don't have one anymore. I mean, now that I am where I am today, which I'm so incredibly grateful for, which is what I really usually like to talk about on Sundays. But that, it was impossible. I mean, you know, you're in your head all the time thinking that, you know, am I still strong? Is this gotten to my head? And those kind of things, you know, and of course the doctors are like, oh, depression makes it worse. Some of them are incredibly cold. And when they can't figure out the answers, they just accuse you of being nuts, which is lovely. I was offered treatments such as ketamine, horse tranquilizers, diagnosed with a disease most recently when I finally stopped trying to let the doctors give me answers. In the end, they had diagnosed me with 9 different autoimmune diseases, RA, fibromyalgia, MS, type 1 diabetes, born without a thyroid and a parathyroid gland, mystery, autoimmune, what else? Sjögren's, Raynaud's, gosh, you know, lots. Some of them actually caused my teeth to start dismantling from the inside out. I lost 16 teeth in the matter of 2 years as well. Had 8 abscesses all at once. And once again, let me remind you, I'm allergic to pain medication. I want to tell you guys that I see all of this as a blessing now, because if it hadn't been for that, if they had given me a solid answer for everything that I was experiencing, then I wouldn't have been so tireless in my search for other answers. And I wouldn't have found Reiki and reconnected with my passion for helping people and curing. When I was young, I actually always thought that I would be on some board of researchers and scientists that discovered cures for incurable diseases. And that's actually a huge part of my passion now. And it's unbelievable now to connect with this today, because I have gotten so much of my life back. That dream that I used to fantasize about running down that beach again. I can run again. I can laugh. I have energy. People don't understand that just the fatigue alone is so incredibly painful and maddening that that alone would really knock most people out and down and out. Depression is a very real thing. The CPRS body-wide, also known as RSD, they call it the suicide disease, because over 40% of the people that have it kill themselves. And my only solution through this was to do, I did my best. I studied Reiki online first, and because I was immobile, I couldn't go anywhere. I was doing healing meditations, doing the, looking up the Emoto experiences, researching everything I could find, and, you know, that helped. But my backup was blue agave silver tequila, because I, of course, researched that as well, because type 1 diabetics shouldn't drink. But the blue agave was actually better for my blood sugar, and so I did that until that stopped working too. And there was no escape. And that was my turning point. Right here, they had put me on a low dosage of antidepressant and a serotonin, all-natural serotonin booster. And my doctor was moving to a private practice at this time. And I actually started having suicidal thoughts, which is not normally characteristic for me. I'm the never give up, would never ever do that person. And so when those thoughts entered my mind in that period of December 2014 into January, I called a suicide hotline. It was pretty laughable. They're like, well, are you going to harm yourself? I'm like, no, I don't want to. Help me. But I didn't want to die in shame either. Nobody knew my struggle. Nobody really knew my battle, because even though, you know, I had put on a ton of weight just from immobility and all the other issues that were going on in every system in my body. Every system. People might, obviously, my nervous system, my digestive system, the muscular system, respiratory, everything. My heart would pound to the point where it would shake the bed. I would wake up and not be able to get my breath, and it was very scary. I had 2 very young children and 2 older children at the time, and I was constantly living in fear that I would die right in front of them. Wow, okay. So guys, there is hope. I promise you that the prognosis isn't real, that there are answers, that you can come back, that you don't have to take these medications forever that are hurting and harming your body in other ways. You know, laughter truly is the best medicine. And so I used to say that I wanted to be the white Oprah, and then when I got sick, I said I wanted to be the straight Ellen. Because Ellen DeGeneres helped me a lot through that daily pain, and I was having a lot of problems with my vision and severe migraines, and I actually lost my vision almost completely for a little while, and then man, guys, so much. I can't even tell you. Whew. Hey, so people don't know your pain, but I do, and I can help. I know it can help. But it takes you believing. It takes so much, but I can guide you through it. But yeah, the pain scale needs to be target practice, because that was long gone. Years ago, before I even started going through these things. And I just want you guys to know, I wrote a poem back then called One of Those Amazing People, because we see those stories and people talk about, you know, those inspirational stories where somebody became quadriplegic or cancer or different things, and people speak so highly of them and their demeanor and their disposition. And what I want to say is that's lovely. Okay, and I know that they genuinely felt that way, but when I was in that space, and the people that were closest to me with no other witnesses, no real witnesses actually, it wasn't like that, you know. I did try to stay positive. I do look back on the things that I said and wrote, and the faith that I clung to. And I just want to say that, you know, if you have a shiny, happy person that is in severe chronic pain, I want to call. It's my bullshit button. I love it. Guys, there are solutions. Our world is moving into greater awareness. Our Western medicine has actually trapped us. There are many places around the world that fully believe in Reiki. They have it in their hospitals, on staff is trained. I've witnessed and been a part of many miracles, but most especially my own. It's not even describable in words. It's not even fathomable. And it's really great that I get to do this with you guys today, because trying to just write it and share this message just doesn't do it justice. You can't possibly give people the depth of what it really feels like and what people really go through. And so my hat's off to all of you. You are warriors. You are survivors, but I want to help you be thrivers on whatever level possible. But it takes both of us to do it, okay? What I had to do to get past this was believe, first and foremost. And that's really difficult. I didn't have to wear the labels. I cast off the labels because my blood work and all my tests would go back and forth, and they'd be like, yes, no, yes, no. And at the time that was horrifying because I couldn't hold up the sign saying I have stage 4 cancer or I have this. And that made it really hard, but now it's like the greatest blessing ever, because if I had been given that stamp saying this is what you have and this is what you have to do beyond what I was like legitimately diagnosed with, who knows, right? And so I want to encourage you guys, the ones that have been given the real diagnosis, the hardcore diagnosis, are on treatment plans and working through this in their lives, that there is a way to try to ease and transfer this into a cure versus a Band-Aid on a bullet hole. And, you know, I would love to speak with you, just hear what's going on and talk with you and see and share with you some of what I do. But it's so important for people suffering this way to not only have a way, a treatment that helps, but to have real support, to have real understanding and comfort. That is one of the very first things that I know saved me. Billy Sandel, my Reiki master, I love you. You were a big part of my journey when I got to come and take Reiki with you, and you understand because you too have autoimmune disease. So I just wanted to say that. And guys, my heart is with you. Believe all things are possible. They truly, truly are. And you don't have to live this way forever. Thanks for watching.